Good afternoon, everybody. I think so. Today is the class about joy about or joy perseverance. So before we start the new lesson, I will do kind of short conclusion about how to practice Lamrim from beginning to the new class. Also today we could have a class about 2 hours, this means 3 to 5. And also I think everybody quite busy to doing the preparation of New Year, which is very good. So make sure everybody has the right motivation to attend the Lamrim class, to do the Dharma's practice. If you don't have the proper motivation at the beginning of any motivation, and the result always thrown is a bad, you never have a good result. Any kind of activity, it is we must have a right and good motivation. Even though before you cook a simple breakfast, you must have a great or joy motivation for cooking the breakfast. Then you can see the breakfast will be very tasty. You can have a good breakfast. Same thing before we practice any kind of Dharma practice, we should have a good motivation. As well, we must know how to practice the Dharma. It is so important, motivation and how to practice. You can see generally many Buddhist people have a good motivation, strong motivation to practice Dharma. Unfortunately, many Buddhist people, they don't know how to practice Dharma, they don't know what does mean Dharma, they have a lot of confusion. The main point is here to have a Lamrim class to make sure the people will understand the Dharma, make sure they will be able to practice the right Dharma. So whenever you attend the class, make sure you try to understand the right Dharma for practicing. So Lamrim is particular text, all practices put together to easy way to learn the practice of Dharma. Generally, all the Buddhist teachings taught by Buddha Shakyamuni, taught by other Buddhas, taught by any masters, all texts are actually Lamrim. But when you open the textbook, it's so difficult to understand how to practice in order. Now, at the beginning of Lamrim, it's explained how we should have the right textbook for practicing Dharma. That means we have the very important text for Lamrim, written by Lama Tsongkhapa, commentary on the Lamrim, Lamb of the Path, composed by Adisha. So before Adisha went to Tibet, actually, he received a lot of requesting from Tibet. Finally, one of the Tibetan Lama Chanju, he came to India to meet Adisha Dipankara Shigyan and request him to come to Tibet, even though he had lot of difficulties to meet Atisha. Atisha was that moment, that time looked like one of the very important master, also always very busy, like the 14th Dalai Lama. And also at that time there were many Tibetan students who have been studying Buddhism, studying about Buddhist philosophy. They give suggestion to him. We should not mention much about going to meet Adisha for requesting go to Tibet. Finally, secretly, he met Adisha and request him to come to Tibet. The Adisha said, I cannot make a promise, go to Tibet. I will do kind of some investigation, do some kind of vision about going to Tibet. Then finally he asked the Mother Tara, which is embodiment of all Buddha's activities. Then he asked to Tara, is okay go to Tibet or not? Then Mother Tara said to him, it is so important to go to Tibet. You can give, great benefit for Tibet and Tibetan. Then finally Tara said to him, if you go to Tibet, your life become shorter. I think 20 years shorter. Then he thought, doesn't matter, my life becoming shorter, but benefiting for the Tibetan is more important. But before he went to Tibet, there was an agreement with the Tibetan people who come to see him, request him to go to Tibet. There's an agreement between the Indian masters and the Tibetan. The agreement was, he said, after 10 years, after a few years, I will bring him back to India. They make an agreement. That's why in finally Adisha went to Tibet. Then, when first time he started to give a teaching, so La Lama issued, La Lama Zhangju is the name of the Tibetan. He requests him to give a teaching which is benefit for all entire Tibetan. He never asked him to give a initiation. He never asked him to give this particular teaching. He asked, please give a teaching which is benefit for all entire Tibetan. Then, Adisha Tipamkara thought about what kind of teaching he must give. He give, like a certain initiation is very benefit for those people, may not be benefit for other people. If he give, particular teaching based on certain texts, it not include all the practices. Then finally, he composed the part, lamb of the path to enlightenment. So this, since, we have a name of Lamrim. So the text is very simple text. It has a very small, simple text which has only, I think, 15 pages. But the content is, is very vast, profound and vast, because it includes, generally Hinayana practices, Sudrayana practices, Vajrayana practices, within the Mahayana, the Vajrayana and Sudrayana, Mahayana, all include in. Then, through him, this teaching passed on all the way to Lama Tsongkhapa. So when Lama Tsongkhapa, take a rebirth in Tibet, then mainly he very much focused how all the Buddha teaching, all the practices, put together, there are no any contradiction. Second, he was very much emphasized to realize the practice of the Vinaya. So the Lamrim is based on the Lamb of the Path written by Adisha. So at the Lamrim beginning, it is explained how we must, have a text which is very pure. Make sure the teaching, the lineage, come from Buddha Shakyamuni all the way to the master. For example, many of you went to India this time. Actually, I think the people who come to TBC, I think you are very lucky because some of you went to India to receive teaching from His Holiness. Also, you have a private audience. Not only that, the people who didn't go to India, they have a really good opportunity to listen teaching from Geshe Lobsang, also Venerable from Taiwan. So this kind of opportunity is very rare to have in your life. If you go other, center, they will give, very particular kind of lineage, or Sagya lineage, or Gelug lineage, Kagyu lineage, bamboo lineage. They never give you, the general teaching, based on general teaching, which include all the practices. That's why I think you should feel, I'm very lucky to have this teaching. This Lamrim is written by Lama Tsongkhapa. It's not the Gelugpa tradition. It is not in Vajrayana. It's just the general teaching about how to practice the path, how to achieve Buddhahood, enlightenment. Then, second, he explained, how we should have the text to make sure the teaching, the lineage, come from Buddha Shakyamuni, commented by all the Indian master. Make sure that the practices are practiced by all the practitioners, achieve enlightenment. Then second, when we practice Dharma, then he explained, he very much explained, the quality of the masters is very important. If the teacher, the guru, the master, doesn't have the perfect knowledge, how you can learn perfect teaching? Even though the master has a perfect knowledge, he not apply, day-to-day life, how he can give you the experience teaching. That's why, that is so important to know the qualities of the master. Make sure the master has, again, all the qualities. Then also you yourself, make sure you have all these qualities, all the qualities. Then now, how we should practice the Dharma. How and why? That's why His Holiness always emphasize to introduce, introduction of Buddhism, based on the Maitreya Buddha. Maitreya Buddha, Bodhisattva, Maitreya or Bodhisattva. The Maitreya Buddhas introduce Dharma, the Lamrim, based on two truths. Then, based on the two truths, then he explained the Four Noble Truths. Based on the Four Noble Truths, then he explained the Triple Gem. So before you practice Dharma, you must have, knowledge about the two truths, which is conventional truths and ultimate truths. When you have good understanding about the two truths, then you're going to have the good understanding of Four Noble Truths, which is truth of suffering, origin of suffering, cessation, truth of cessation, the cause of the truth to cessation, path to the cessation. If you don't have the knowledge of the two truths, you're not going to have a good understanding about the Four Noble Truths. If you don't understand the Four Noble Truths, even though every day you're saying, I take refuge into Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, you have been saying, you reciting the verses 100 times, but you don't understand, the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. That means the chanting become, kind of useless. So each time when you practice the Dharma, you must have a reflection about two truths, Four Noble Truths, then Triple Gem. So each time, all Lamrim practice, you can practice within 2 hours or 3 hours, within 20 minutes. You don't, if you don't have enough time, you can practice the complete Lamrim practice within 20 minutes. If you have enough time, why not? You should spend more time to practice Lamrim. Then, how you practice Lamrim? That means, first you know the two truths, ultimate truth and conventional truths. When you understood the conventional truths, then you're going to understand cause and effect. Cause and effect. When you understood the ultimate truth, emptiness, then you're going to understand the opposite of the wisdom, which is ignorance. Then you can see, if I practice the two truths, then I can achieve Buddhahood. Then, based on the conventional truths, then you need to understand the Four Noble Truths. So first, each beginning practice, you have a short time to think about the two truths and Four Noble Truths. After you fully understood Four Noble Truths, then you're going to believe, karma, the law of causality. So, in order to practice Lamrim, then you need to rely on the master, guru. You really have strong belief into the gurus as a guide, which is guide to achieve Buddhahood. Then, after you fully have a strong belief in guru, then you need to reflect about the law of causality generally, right? For example, when you put the rice seeds on the field, then you're able to grow the rice, right? Rice. If you don't have the rice seeds, you put the yellow bean, then you cannot grow rice. First, you need to have a perfect understanding or knowledge how the external cause and effect arise. Even though you have a seeds, you have a field, if there's no water, you cannot grow, the sprout. You cannot grow rice and, like beans and barley. Yes, you have a field, you have a seeds, you have a water. If there's no soil, the seeds grow maybe for the short moment, the seeds going to dry. First, you need to have, perfect knowledge about how external things arise. Then second, you reflect how I come into exist. Why I have the physical sufferings. Why I have the emotional or mental sufferings. The suffering is given by a God or Buddha or Allah. Who? No. All the sufferings, which I have, is arise based on causes and condition. The happiness which I experience in my day-to-day life also not, give it, produced by God or Buddha or like some other human being. Also, the happiness, the pleasant feeling also arise based on causes and condition. Now you need to recognize what are the causes and condition of the suffering, what are the causes and condition of the happiness. That means, then happiness can be, external happiness or inner happiness. Suffering can be, external suffering or inner suffering. So generally, the external suffering, so someday we have a lot of suffering because of the weather, because of the food, because of the environment, because of the friend and family. Those things we cannot much change. We cannot change, even though someday Singapore has the extreme hot weather, right? So yet we have to recognize this is the nature of Singapore. I cannot change the hot weather. Try to be happy with the hot weather, or you can use a fan, or you can use a air condition to be cool. You cannot change the external, the condition. Second, the inner suffering. The inner suffering very, very much depend on how you look at, how you can accept. if you compare the two sufferings, external sufferings and inner suffering is more heavier, more deeper, more difficult for you than the external sufferings. Also, the happiness, we can focus on two types of happiness. Again, external happiness and inner happiness. External happiness, very easy to achieve. For example, the weather is so hot. You just turn on the air condition, suddenly you feel, the physically pleasant feeling. You can have a physical happiness. When you're so hungry, thirsty, after you eat and drink, you feel so happy. This was the external happiness. It's the happiness which is you can achieve the best on external condition. Now the second, the inner happiness, is so difficult to achieve. Once you achieve, it's really good. Because the internal happiness we must achieve based on transforming, based on controlling our emotion, controlling the negative thoughts, reduce all the bad thoughts, increase all the positive thoughts. Then you can have a inner happiness. So Buddhism, very much emphasize how to gain, how to achieve inner happiness, how to reduce, how to minimize, how to eliminate the inner suffering. So when you think about, the Buddhism is very much about, reducing the inner suffering, increase the inner happiness. Then now you can see, the recitation, chanting, prostration, making offering, visiting holy place are not that important as, reducing the negative thoughts, increasing positive thoughts. You must do, but those are not that important as a meditation. That's why then you recognize, yes, I have an inner suffering. The inner suffering also arises, based on conditions. I have an inner happiness. The inner happiness also arises based on, condition. Now you need to recognize those conditions. Then, all the positive minds, for example, great compassion, kindness, tolerance, patience, forgiveness, those are the inner condition to, produce, to arise inner happiness. And ignorance, attachment, desire, anger, hatred, all of them, all the negative minds, all the negative mental attitudes are the condition to produce, to arise sufferings. Right? Then, when you fully understood, yes, those are the condition of happiness, those are the condition of suffering, then you try to reduce the condition of suffering, try to increase, try to generate the cause of happiness. Then, now the between suffering and the cause of suffering, we have another condition which is we call karma, right? That means all the negative thoughts are the motivation. All the negative karma motivated by negative thoughts, right? So suffering which is we have is arise based on karma. We need to eliminate the negative karma. We need to minimize the negative karma. How? Then you can have two practices, simply two practices. One, you can just focus on, eliminating, minimize negative karma based on recitation, based on chanting, based on, prostration. For example, before you offer the light, before you lead the light to the merit field for the Buddhas, Bodhisattva, you should think, I'm going to lead the light to eliminate my negative karmas. Then you lead the light. The leading light, through the leading light, you're accumulating a lot of positive karma as well as you're going to reduce the negative karma. Only reducing negative karma is not enough to have to achieve the ultimate happiness. Right? For example, you are you feel so cold. You feel so cold because you have a certain kind of sickness. First you wear the warm clothes, you feel warm. You feel, warm. But still not enough. You have to reduce the particular sickness. That means you must eliminate the negative karma as well as you try to eliminate the root of the karma, which is all the negative thoughts. If you're not able to reduce the cause of the negative karma, doesn't matter how much you reduce, minimize, try to eliminate negative karma, you won't be, clean. You're not going to end. For example, the hot water is coming through the pipe, right? Pipe. Then you try to stop. You cannot. If you know there's a root of the hot water, when you stop from the root, then no more water coming through the pipe. That means, the seven limb practices. One is the confession. You must eliminate the negative karma through recitation, chanting, prostration. Then, the most important, you must eliminate, reduce, minimize the root, the motivation of the negative karma, which is all the negative thoughts. Then you need to do a lot of practices. Then why we need to eliminate the negative karma? Why? This means you need to think due to negative karmas. Right now I'm a human being. I have a wonderful life. I have wonderful environment. I have a wonderful friends and family. It doesn't mean you will have, wonderful family, wonderful environment, good food, good condition in the next life. We never know, right? We never know. So that's why, if I have lot of negative karma in this life, if I accumulate a lot of negative karma in this life, the next life, you should think I will face I will have a lot of sufferings. I need to face a lot of challenges. Then, thinking about the bad consequence, always remember the bad consequence of negative karma, then you must focus to reduce the negative karma. Not only that, you reduce negative karma, at the same time you try to not accumulate, not to accumulate the negative karma. Try to accumulate the positive karma. Positive karma. Also, accumulating only positive karma is not enough to have a happy life. Right? Right now, look at, if you compare with other country, the Singapore is one of the, the best country which has all the good conditions. But still, all Singaporeans facing, problems. Not much physical problem, but emotional problem, mental problem. All the emotional, mental problem which is we have, because we have a lot of negative thoughts. That's why, not enough to accumulate positive karma. It is not enough to have a happy life to reduce the negative karma. We must reduce the negative thoughts. We must increase the positive thoughts. Then, those reasons, then you need to think, since today I am not going to accumulate any negative karma, I will do only positive actions. In order to do this practice, then you need to focus on the bad consequence of negative karma. The worst, the consequence will be the lower realms. Born in the hungry ghosts, born in animal realms, born in hell. Then also, due to the positive karma, if we take a rebirth as a human, also still we have a suffering. Then, think I'm going to eliminate all the negative karma as well as, the root of the negative karma. Then, slowly you must practice the Four Noble Truths, must practice the impermanence. Impermanence. Beginning of the practices and practicing impermanence is so important. That's why Buddha said, among the marks, there can be a lot of, footprint. Among the footprint, the elephant footprint is the best. This is the, analogy. Among the practices, the best practices is the practices of, impermanence. Among the meditation, the best meditation is meditation on impermanence. Once you remember impermanence, then you're going to remember, your death. If you totally, don't understand, don't try to remember impermanence, then you're not going to understand, you're not going to remember the death. If you're not going to remember the death, you have been doing so many, the nonsense things. Due to that, also we have been accumulating a lot of karma. So at the beginning of the practice, you just remember the impermanence, then death. Within the impermanence, there's two levels, subtle and gross. Everybody, can see, can experience, can recognize the gross impermanence. But we don't understand, we cannot recognize the subtle impermanence, the subtle one. We can see things are changing, right? Yesterday the weather is very warm, today is so cool. We can see everything is changing, like just think about the early morning where the weather was so fresh. Then slowly the sunrise, everything become hot. When the sun set, then slowly again the weather becoming cooler. Then we can see everything is changing. But we can see everything changing very slowly. We cannot see everything changing very rapidly, very fast. Very fast. If you're able to recognize the subtle impermanence, then you look like, you are really rushing, you are really moving very fast towards death. If you think, then you feel, I don't have a time to, do the, the nonsense thing. I don't have a time to talk about the nonsense thing because my life is, moving towards death very fast. I'm going to die anytime. Then you always think, it reminds you to practice the Dharma. Also it reminds you to have a positive mental attitudes. Also it reminds you to should not have a lot of attachment about this life, should not have a lot of attachment, strong attachment about, the belonging things. You can see, some of your friends are very wealthy, very rich. Even though, they are very rich and very wealthy, still you can see their life is not happy as you have. And when they pass away, they cannot bring anything with them except the karma. After they left, there's a lot of, problem about the poverty. Families of brother and sister and uncle and auntie, they are fighting about the, the poverty, like the money, like house, car. That's mean, look at, if you think this way, then you really think, things are impermanence. I'm impermanence. I'm going to die any time. There's no point to accumulate, possess so many things. It doesn't mean you don't need anything. You need a house, you need a money, you need a job, you need a clothes. Sometimes we, accumulate so many things which is, not necessary. It's something we accumulate, more than what we need. That's why every time you try to reflect, try to remind, the death. The death come anytime. That's why within the four seals, Buddhist four seals, the first is impermanence. All conditioned phenomena, impermanence. The second is all the contaminated phenomena are suffering. Then again, all phenomena, empty, nature of emptiness. Then all phenomena nature is selflessness. The four seals. What we call four seals. That means if you are able to recognize the four things, then you become, the Buddhist. If you don't recognize the four things, then you still believe I am Buddhist, but you cannot become the good Buddhist. The four seals, right? Seals like. Then, after you meditate on impermanence, maybe a few minutes, you really need to believe, I'm going to die. If I die, then I cannot bring anything with me except the karma. The karma always follow with you as a shadow, right? Shadow. Wherever you go, you can say shadow is always with you. And you have a lot of negative karma. What will happen? What will happen? You will face a lot of problems. You will have a lot of suffering. In order to avoid all the suffering, you need to avoid the accumulating the negative karma. Then slowly you need to focus why I accumulate in negative karma, because of the negative thoughts. Then you need to reduce the negative thoughts. So reducing negative thoughts is not only about practice of dharma. You can see some of your friends have always positive thoughts, compassion, and they have a lot of compassion thoughts, kindness, tolerance. The person is always happy. You can see this thing, then you also they also inspire you to practice, compassion, kindness, tolerance. If you practice compassion, then you have a less anger, less hatred. Right? So how we can practice compassion? First, you should practice compassion. One of your close, friends, like families or brother or sister, you just practice compassion towards one of the closer person. When you generate compassion towards your close one, your dear one, how do you feel? What the person feel about you, right? So if you always very compassion towards someone, when you see the person, you feel very happy. Other person very, very happy when they see you, right? Second, then same compassion. You just focus to some other people. Slowly you can extend the same compassion towards everybody. If you have this kind of great compassion, whoever you meet, you feel very happy. They also feel happy when they see you. Compassion, kindness, tolerance. Then practice of this, then you can reduce all the negative thoughts. Then reducing negative thoughts is enough to achieve Buddhahood? No. Then you need to practice what? Bodhicitta. The first part, meditate on emptiness, meditate on Four Noble Truths, practice of like impermanence, emptiness. Those are we call in the common practice between Mahayana practitioner and Hinayana practitioner. Right? That's why His Holiness very mentioned in the Bodh Gaya, without the Hinayana practices, you cannot practice the Mahayana practices. Without the Hinayana practices, Mahayana practices, you cannot practice the Vajrayana practice. Right? That's why you can see, you must practice the Hinayana practices, which is impermanence, selflessness, emptiness, renunciation. Top of that, you need to practice bodhicitta. Right? Why you need to practice bodhicitta? Because you should not say, I want to practice bodhicitta because I want to benefit others. This is one reason. You must say, I want to practice bodhicitta because I want to achieve the two goals, two achievement. My own achievement for others. Right? Even if you just achieve enlightenment or arhat state, even though you haven't achieved your own goal, of course you haven't achieved other goal for others. So in order to achieve the two goals, two achievement, then you need to practice bodhicitta with the emptiness. Then look at second, the 6 paramitas, right? Then, based on bodhicitta, then you need to practice 6 pranayana paramitas. So before you practice bodhicitta, then you need to receive the instruction of how to practice bodhicitta based on, rely on the gurus and masters. Then I hope remember, before you receive the instruction of bodhicitta, before you receive the bodhisattva vows, how you need to do preparation. That means you need a guru, you have to request to the guru to give a bodhisattva vows, to give an instruction of bodhicitta. Then, after you receive the instruction from guru, you receive the vows, then you need really enter into the Mahayana path, which is bodhicitta as well as 6 pranayana paramitas. So within the 6 pranayana paramita, first we think about how we can generate bodhicitta. Do you remember the 7 cause and effect? 7 cause and effect. What are the 7 cause are? Okay. What are the cause and condition? Is she behalf of you? Okay. 7 cause and effect. Very important. Look at. Because we believe, right, we follow the Mahayana tradition. Right? That's why we must know, how to practice the bodhicitta. 7 cause and effect. That means the 7 we can divide into, let's say, the 4 we put as a cause. 4. Okay, within the 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. Until 4 we put as a cause. Then the great compassion in the middle. Right? That means 5. Then 6, 7. 6, 7, the 2 are look like the, effect. Clear? Within the 7, the 4 can be cause of the great compassion. Right? Compassion. Then rest 2. That means 4 plus great compassion, 5. That means how many left? 2. 2 are the effect of great compassion. Clear? Great compassion. So, do you remember all the Lama Tsongkhapa said, all the Mahayana practices rooted by great compassion. Great compassion. This means without great compassion, you thinking I'm practicing, Bodhisattva's deeds. Actually, you are not practicing Bodhisattva deeds because you are missing the great compassion. That's why all the Mahayana practices are rooted by what? Great compassion. The great compassion you put in the middle, the 4 you apply as a cause, then 2 are the result or effect of the great compassion. So what are the 4 can be the cause of the great compassion? Okay, recognize all sentient beings as your mother. You can say, recognize all mother sentient beings. No, recognize all sentient beings as your mother. Number 2, remembering their kindness. Number 3, repair their kindness. 4, love or affection, right? That means, what is the connection, why you need to practice, great compassion? Why you need to practice bodhicitta? That means, so look like, all other sentient beings are like your family. For example, all other sentient beings look like, for example, like your family. Within your family, you are the most intelligent, right? You are the educated, you are the intelligent, you have the ability, you have the energy to do good thing for your families, right? You are among your family, you are very intelligent, you are very educated, you are very capable, you have an ability, you have an energy, you have an idea to do good thing your family, right? Then the rest of your families, are uneducated, unable, incapable, don't have energy, don't have any idea. Then, if you just enjoy yourself, do you think you are a good person? You just happy yourself. You don't care the rest of your family. They have a suffering, they have a problem, they need a medicine, they need food, they need clothes, they need so many things. But you totally ignore your family. You always try to enjoy yourself. That means, are you considered to be a good person? No, right? You should not. Nobody going to say you are a good person, because you have the responsibility to do good thing for your families. Because you are educated, you are intelligent, you are capable, you have ability. Then you must do. Why you have to do? Because you and the other family has a connection, right? What connection? You said the blood relative, to a blood. What do you call?
Blood and water.
Huh? Yeah. Say you are connection each other because of the blood and bones. Same thing among the sentient beings. Right now, you think I'm nothing. I'm just ordinary being. Yes, one hand you are very simple, very ordinary being. In other hand, among the sentient beings, you are very intelligent. You have you are educated. You have ability. You are the capable to do good thing for other sentient beings. Why? Think about we just follow the truth. Within the just forget all sentient beings. Think about only human being. Within the human beings, how many people really able to understand the cause of suffering, cause of happiness? Many people don't understand, don't recognize what are the cause of the happiness, what are the cause of suffering. That means you have some knowledge about the cause of happiness, the cause of suffering. Also, you have ability to remove the suffering yourself. Also, you have ability to remove the cause of suffering for other sentient beings. Then, not only that, you and other sentient being has a connection. There's a relationship. For example, in this life, you have a mother, you have a parents. Without your parents, you cannot be here, right? Cannot be here. So, in our lifetime, this life, number one important is our parents. Among the parents, mother is most important than the father. Same thing, we had parents in the past life, right? So that's me. If you think about the past life, finally is going to go. The past life is the beginningless. The previous life is beginningless. That's means we have a numberless. Father and mother and sister and brother. Even though when you look at outside, you can see some bird. You can see fish, dog, cow, or like some other people. Like Indian, like Indonesian, Chinese, Burmese. You think I don't have any connection, but you do. You don't recognize those may be your brother in the previous life. Those may be your, used to be your mother, used to be father. They are also very kind to you. That's why you think, I have the responsibility to give happiness to all sentient beings. I have a responsibility to remove the cause of the suffering for all sentient beings. That's why then you need to practice bodhicitta. That's why number 1, recognize all sentient beings as your mother. Number 2, remember their kindness. You must remember their kindness based on your mother of this lifetime. Right? When you fully recognize my mother is so important for me in this life, then same thing, other sentient beings are also very important for you. They are so kind to you. Then repay their kindness. When you think about how you can repay their kindness, there are so many ways, right? So many ways. For example, you can simply give food, clothes, medicine, money. You can give very little thing to them, but this thing cannot help them to be cannot help to have a lasting happiness. For example, your mom is so sick. She got a serious sickness. Then even though you just offer some clothes and food, which is good, but she's not just looking, she is just wishing to have a food and clothes. She wished to have the good medicine to cure, the serious sickness. That means even you give some clothes and food, you give, short kind of helping to the other sentient being, which is good, but they are not just looking the simple helping. They are looking the lasting happiness. Right? How? Then they can be lasting happy. They can achieve the lasting happiness when they become a Buddha. So that's why you should think, I must achieve Buddhahood. I must be Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings, as well as in order to benefit myself. Right? 2 benefits. Your own benefits and benefits of all others. That's why bodhicitta. So among the love and compassion, you must generate, develop, love. Then compassion. Without love, you cannot have a compassion. Love. Also, then after you meditate on few days or few hours or few minutes, then you move your meditation on compassion. Then compassion has many levels. The simple compassion, we have a compassion towards our relative, our families. The compassion is we have because based on the connection of bones and blood. Then this is very simple compassion. Then slowly you have to extend the compassion towards all human beings. Finally, you have to extend the compassion to all sentient beings. Then we can name great compassion. Great compassion. Once you are able to generate great compassion, then you are able to generate bodhicitta very easy way. That's why you remember His Holiness always mention whenever he give a teaching, whenever he give an initiation, always and very much emphasize to generate great compassion, bodhicitta. So once you practice great compassion, you have a little time to practice great compassion, then bodhicitta. When you practice bodhicitta, then slowly you really feel, you really think, I will take the responsibility to be happy, all sentient beings to be happy. I will take the responsibility to remove the cause of suffering for all sentient beings. This means, what was the number 6? Number 6 is altruism. The number 7, great compassion. Bodhicitta. That means, recognize all sentient beings as a mother, remember their kindness, repair their kindness, then love, great compassion, altruism, bodhicitta. 7 cause and effect. Then, in order to achieve Buddhahood, the practice bodhicitta is not enough. Then you need to practice what? 6 prajnana paramita, 6 perfections. What are the 6 perfections? Number 1, perfection of generosity, perfection of ethical discipline. Number 3, perfection of patience. Number 4, joy effort. Then number 5, meditation. Number 6, wisdom. So within the 6 prajnana paramita, within the 6 perfection, there's an order. The number 1 and 2, you can sometimes the generosity first, perfection of generosity first, perfection of ethical discipline is second. Sometimes is another way. First, ethical discipline first, generosity second. There's not sudden order. The next must be order. So that's why Lama Tsongkhapa said, if you are able to practice ethical discipline, then you will be able to practice generosity. Right? How can how? Why not? You cannot practice completely generosity without ethical disciplines. Why? Do you remember the reason? Without practicing, completely practicing ethical discipline, you cannot practice generosity. Why? Huh? Are you just guessing or talking about verse of Lamrim? Huh? Because in order to complete the practice of generosity, you have to be generous. Right? So that means, so for example, how many types of generosity? 3 types. Right? 3 types of practice of generosities. What are they? Giving of material and giving of teaching of Dharma, then giving of life. Actually, they use directly giving of life. That means you are not talking. You need to give your life. For example, somebody, for example, cow or fish is in the place almost going to killed. Then you give some money. You release them from the killed. Also, we say fish liberation. Fish liberation. Liberate them from killing. When you practice generosity, you can give something like food and clothes. Also, you can give a teaching. Teaching not only talking about the Dharma. You can teach English. You can teach math and science. You must give some knowledge. It's also considered practice of generosity. Then the third one, practice of generosity of giving life. Giving real life. So in order to complete the practice of generosity, then we need to know the obstacle of not able to practice the generosity. Obstacle, which is again the negative thoughts. So do you remember how many types of ethical discipline, practice of ethical disciplines? 3. Yeah, what are they? We are ethical discipline of restraint, then gather virtues. Okay, acting for other welfare, right? So that's why you can see, if you always act benefit for others, then for you very easy to practice the generosity, right? That's why, in order to practice, in order to complete the practice of generosity, you must practice completely the ethical discipline. Also, you should not think, practice of ethical discipline is just kind of taking vows. So number third, what's the number third of perfection? Patience. The patience has a long, lot of papers, lot of pages. Then, if you are able to practice ethical discipline, generosity, therefore you very easy to be patient. After patience, what? Number 4 is, what is the number 4? Joy effort. Joy effort. So now we start, the new class. Joy effort. So before we start new class, have you got any question? Any question? No. No question, right? Okay, now we just start a new classes. Joy effort. Patient practice. Okay, there's so many things we have to explain here, but so we should do kind of the short teaching. Okay, page number. What's the page number? 181, 182, right? Just we go through 182. How to turn in the perfection of joy's perseverance. This section has 5 parts. What are the 5 parts? Okay, just read. What? Yes.
How to begin the practice of joyous perseverance. The divisions of joyous perseverance. How to practice.
And summary. Right, this, I think all of the 6 parameters, same question. Number 1, what does mean, what joy perseverance is, what patience is, what ethical discipline is. Right? So as a homework, after New Year, everybody must learn what joy perseverance is, what patience is, what ethical discipline is. Okay? Then number 2, how to begin, how to start the practice of joyous perseverance. Then the divisions of joyous perseverance, how to practice, then summary. What joy perseverance is so important, when you have focus upon something virtuous, then you're talking about the object, focus of object. When you have focus upon something virtuous, joyous perseverance is enthusiasm for it. Now we must differentiate between joy, effort, and effort. Right? Joy, effort, and effort. There's a 4 points between joy, effort, and effort. For example, somebody put a lot of effort, to complete the job, to complete something. But if it we can call effort, not the joy effort, not joy effort. The joy effort, look at, when you have focus upon something virtuous, the joy effort must be focused on the virtues. Then, the joy perseverance is enthusiasm for it. Let me look at Chanda Shandideva said, what is joy perseverance? It is delight in virtues. Tsongang gela tuao in Tibetan tsongang means what is joy effort? The answer is gela tuao. It is delight in virtues. Generally, how you can differentiate virtues and non-virtues. How you can differentiate? Huh? We can say this is virtues, this is non-virtues. How you can differentiate between two of them? Just put your own thoughts. Non-virtues affect something.
The effect will be suffering result.
Sorry?
The result will be suffering for non-virtues.
Okay. She said, virtues, non-virtues, we can differentiate. If the effect is suffering, is non-virtues, right? If the effect is happiness, the virtues, right? Does anybody has any other kind of idea or other kind of point of view? Motivation. Okay. If good motivation, that become virtues. Bad motivation become non-virtues. Any other idea? Your own idea. It's generally so difficult to differentiate between virtues and non-virtues. According to Buddhist tradition, drinking alcohol considered virtues or non-virtues? Non-virtues. When you drink alcohol, how do you feel? Feel happy or suffering?
Happy then suffering. Happy first then suffering.
How suffering second? First happy, then later is suffering. How? No. If you drink too much, then problem. If you drink just a few glass of wine, will be quite happy, right? Okay. That's why I think actually I explained few times in the class. Some of you may not be that time. For example, drinking alcohol considered to non-virtues any Buddhist tradition. Yeah. Oh no. Do you remember naturally generally drinking alcohol is not considered virtues or non-virtues. It's just neutral. Killing anything, killing human or killing, very simple or little animals, insect, you consider non-virtues. Then after you take a vows, like for example, somebody took the layperson vows. How many precepts you need to follow after you took the layperson vows? The five precepts. What are they? Yeah, the four root, killing, stealing, lying, then misconduct, then drinking alcohol, right? After you, took a vows, after you, accepted the layperson vows, then if you drink alcohol, any types of, toxin, right? Alcohol is considered to be intoxicant, considered to be non-virtues. Why? Because when you drink, something like alcohol, you against your vows. That's why, it's not naturally bad. It's become, non-virtues because you destroy it. You against the law. That's why killing is naturally non-virtues. Drinking kind of, the alcohol naturally not non-virtues. It depends on, depend on you. If you took a vows, then consider to be non-virtuous. Then she said, virtues, non-virtues, we can differentiate based on the result, based on the consequences, right? So she said based on the motivation. Then what about, many people think, for example, one of our parents, or maybe both, or one of my parents, one of our best, relative, he or she is very suffered, due to very severe cancer. The person cannot eat, cannot sleep, cannot drink, still in the bed for many years, right? Many years. So the person is facing many problems, suffering. Then many people thought, why not, just give simple medicine and, kill, finish the life. That's why, in some Europe country, when the people become very old, it's okay to go hospital, take certain medicine to finish the life. Euthanasia, right? So this is good or bad? The motivation is good because motivation is, the person has a lot of suffering. They totally suffer for 12 months, few years. If you give the medicine, he or she will go within a few minutes. Simple. Actually, we killed the person, but kill with the good motivation. It benefit, for the person, also benefit for others. His motivation is good or bad? Good, huh? So do you consider it a virtuous action? No. Right? Also, you said, when the consequence, when you experience the result is happy, then you would say virtuous. Right? Then, for example, you are very poor, you don't have enough food and clothes. Then you steal, food or clothes or money from someone. When you got it, you feel so happy. You feel, you feel happy. So do you consider it is a virtuous action? Do you feel happy? You feel good? Right? So this is what, if somebody asks this question, we have to say it depends on the, depends on. But it's so difficult to differentiate between, virtues and non-virtues. Sometimes, is considered to be virtuous, but sometimes is harm other. Right? Some harm other. So anyway, the joy effort is not just only simple effort. The effort towards what? Virtues. Virtues. Okay, this is the definition of the joy perseverance. The question is raised by someone, what is the joyous perseverance? Answer, it is delight in virtues. The Bodhisattva levels explain it is the flawless state of mind that is enthusiastic about accumulating virtues. It is talk about one joy perseverance and working for the welfare of living beings, together with the physical, verbal and mental activities such as state of mind motivated. Right? That means you talk about the three types of joy's perseverance. This is the definition of the joy perseverance or joy effort. How to begin the practice of joy's perseverance is same thing, all the 6 paramita. Before you practice, you must think about what is the good consequence of practice of 6 paramitas. If you don't practice, what is the bad consequence? Right? It is same thing. Before you practice Dharma, you should think, if I practice Dharma, I can get all these benefits. If I don't practice Dharma, I can have all these faults, all the what's the opposite of the benefit, the opposite is, what's the benefit of the opposite? Non-benefit?
Disadvantage.
Disadvantage. Yeah, I think disadvantage. Right? So, before we really practice Dharma, you always need to do short meditation. We have a short time to think about what is the benefit of practice of Dharma, what is the disadvantage of practice of Dharma. Okay, I will raise this question to you. What is the benefits, or what is the benefit of the practice of Dharma? What is the disadvantage of the practice of Dharma? So, because everybody have been practiced Dharma, have you ever seen, what is the benefit of the practice of Dharma? What is the disadvantage of the practice of Dharma? Have you ever think? What is the benefit? What is the loss? Simply, loss and benefit. So, what is the benefit of Dharma? Practice of Dharma? What is the disadvantage of the practice of non-practice of Dharma?
For me personally.
Everybody have to answer your own experience.
The benefit is I become a better person.
Mm-hmm.
The disadvantage is that you dedicate a lot of your time and resource to that. You cannot do other things, which are not necessarily bad things. Other activities.
Mm-hmm.
Other things that can benefit other people too. So it's a question of balance. You have to find a balance that
Through practice of Dharma.
in the different times of your life is different.
Okay, so what is your answer?
Benefits, maybe I think first before I act.
Mm-hmm.
And my loss is maybe similar to the time.
Okay, so what is your answer? What is the benefit of practice of Dharma? What is the disadvantage of the non-practice of Dharma?
Advantage is to learn and apply it.
Uh-huh.
Learn and plant the seed.
Uh-huh. Okay, this is the benefit.
Yes.
So what is the disadvantage of the non-practice of Dharma?
Oh, non-practice? No.
Practice and non-practice. That means, who practice Dharma, you can say, if I practice Dharma, I can have this benefit. If I not practice Dharma, then I will lose this one.
I misunderstood the question.
Uh-huh.
I thought the question was, what is the benefit and what is the disadvantage of practicing Dharma?
Or not.
Yeah.
I've said not.
Practicing is different.
Yeah. Okay. So any answer? What is your answer?
To be honest, practicing Dharma, it helps you in the long term.
Uh-huh.
I mean, personally, I think it helps you calm your mind, make a wiser decision for your whole life,
Mm-hmm.
for the further upgrade of your lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Non-benefit, I think, of course, it hurts you in the long run as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you may lose your cool, you may make a wrong decision. I mean, it will even lead you to destruction sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's how my own experience.
Very good. What's your idea? What's your answer? Benefit or non-benefit?
Practicing Dharma can solve a lot of problems.
Okay. Also make a lot of problems. What is the non-benefit? What is the non-benefit of kind of not practice of Dharma?
Never practice Dharma. Everything we do wrong, also we don't know it's wrong.
Okay. So what is your answer?
The benefit is we try to find the right answers to the actions through the Dharma.
Hmm.
The disadvantage of not doing Dharma is you get carried away in the negative actions that you continue to do day to day without knowing that there's actually consequences to it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what is your answer? How, for example, you really need to, you should not think, it's good because this Marsa says good. It is you need to think your own experience. You need to tell based on your own experience. What is since you got interest in Dharma, what kind of benefit you have? Before you believe or practice Dharma, what kind of lost or what kind of disadvantage you had?
Can you actually attain happiness
Mm-hmm.
when you practice the Dharma, and then the disadvantage if you do not do it, then you think very negatively.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then you actually you cannot think straight. Yeah.
Okay, so what's your question answer? You.
Okay, happiness,
Okay.
wiser.
Okay.
Yeah.
Happiness and wiser. So what is your answer? Based on your experience.
From my own experiences, I think I became a more positive person.
Mm-hmm.
And like for if the disadvantage of not practicing Dharma, I feel that in the past we don't see things as external factors, internal factors. A lot of times we blame the external.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I think once you have practiced Dharma, you will know that there's always external and internal. And a lot of times you must look within yourself.
Okay, very good. So what is your answer?
By practicing Dharma, I believe craving, because I'm always very crave about will, power, payment, and all that. But it also allows me to realize that by learning about Dharma, you tend to know what is the lower realm. People who don't practice, they don't know the lower realm. Sequences like hell realm, animal realm. This is something that for those people who don't practice Dharma, they don't know.
Okay, so what's your answer?
Leave samsara.
Huh? Okay, practice Dharma. Lead.
In order to leave the cycle.
Cyclic existence.
Go exit from the cycle.
Okay, exist from samsara.
Yeah, that is, so that you can.
Okay, that means you say, exist Dharma, exist from samsara is the benefit of Dharma, practice of Dharma. No practice, you cannot exist, right? Cannot leave the samsara. So what's your answer? You.
Benefits are more at peace. You are able to accept things and not can see things not just from your point.
Okay. I think everybody, answer very nice way, also very, I think, good answers. So she's said, after practice Dharma, it reduces the craving. Also, I think we have to be very careful. What I personally felt. So Buddhism started from India, right? Now Buddhism is no more really not more in India. Usually say, India is the birthplace of the Buddha, birthplace of Dharma. Actually, if you go all around India, you cannot see really the good Buddhist practitioner. You cannot see the good Buddhist temple or the kind of big Buddhist community except Tibetan. Otherwise, you all over India, you cannot see. Now we need to think why India become like that. Buddha was born there. He started Buddhism in India, so the Buddhism flourished all over India, also Kashmir and Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, or Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, everywhere. So now we just think about the history of Buddhism. The Buddhism, really degenerated all over the world. In India, or of course now Pakistan, Bangladesh, there's no no Buddhists anymore. Why? That's why, when you practice Buddhism, when you practice great compassion, you are very compassionate. Other people, let them do what they want. You really don't care much. That's why, Buddhism, degenerate certain place. Also, you can see most of the Buddhist people who follow the pure Buddhists, they are not that rich, because they have a strong contentment. They try to content with little things. As a family levels, as a lay person, which is very good, able to happy. If you are very happy with a simple thing, it's good for you, but it may not good for your children or your next generation. Okay, so you must be content for your own things, but you should not have a content to benefit others. And also, somebody said, after you learn Buddhism, it's become more positive, become better person. But sometimes also you can see, many Buddhists among your friends or your relative or, your co-worker, they are Buddhists, but they are very negative person, very angry person, always fighting, always use a very harsh word. That means they themselves believe themselves, I'm Buddhist. But they really don't know the Buddha Dharma. They don't really apply the Buddha Dharma. They just spend, their life go with the, the Buddhist culture. Buddhist culture. Say, you should not eat meat, or you should go to temple, you live the light, you burn incense, today's full moon day, fish liberation, they just whole life go with the Buddhist culture. They're not really interested into Buddha Dharma. So that's why, we have to believe in the Buddhist culture, Buddhist environment, be vegetarian, or every full moon day you do, good activities, good job, good things. Should not just content just only this level. You really go deeper level. This means that mainly you need to know what are the cause and condition of happiness, what are the cause and condition of the suffering. You need to recognize the two things. Then you really need to generate and develop the cause of happiness. You must reduce the cause of suffering. That means you really need to fight, with the cause of sufferings. You really need to eliminate the cause of suffering. That's not easy, right? So when you try to eliminate the cause of happiness, then, all the challenges will come. So mainly, if you try to be good practitioner, good Buddhist practitioner, then you really need to focus on, how to reduce, how to generate. And also it's mentioned, the benefit of the teaching of Dharma. I think at the beginning, then book number 1. So after you study Dharma, for you much easy to recognize, why I have this problem, why I have this suffering. Then you make a lot, less blame for others. Also for you more easy to reduce the negative thoughts. Before you practice Dharma, you always think, everything I have all the problem because of others, right? You never think it is my responsibility to be happy. It is my responsibility to reduce, the suffering. After you learn Dharma, then you recognize not, it's only depend on me. You not much depend on others. That's why, virtues is so difficult to understand so difficult to differentiate between virtues and non-virtues. Okay. The next one, how to begin the practice of joyous perseverance. That means you need to always think the benefit of the practice of joy perseverance and also disadvantage of the not practice of joy perseverance. The next sentence is, said by Buddha, Adhyasaya Sambhujana Sutra. always rely upon noble joyous perseverance, which clear away all sufferings and darkness, which is the basis of freedom from the miserable realms, and which is the praised by all Buddhas. Right? That means if you practice joy perseverance, you're going to clear away all sufferings, all darkness. Darkness refers to the ignorance. Also, basis of freedom from miserable realms. That means if you are able to practice joyous perseverance, then you are able to free from the miserable realms. The next one who joyously perseveres has no difficulty accomplish any project, whether mundane or supermundane. Who among the learned is disheartened by joyous perseverance? Here, two things very important. Look at whether mundane or supermundane. According to based on English word, what is mundane? Mundane. Yeah. What does meaning? Based on English language.
It's very natural.
Not it.
It's a very
Yeah.
nothing fantastic.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So.
It's not that important, right?
It's like brushing your teeth and every day.
Yeah, mundane. Then, supermundane means beyond.
Beyond the mundane.
Okay, in Tibetan we call Jigden Dang, Jigden Lendeba. Okay, that means if you are able to practice, then you can achieve whatever you want. So this is the benefit. The next one, what is the the false, or what is the disadvantage? Not practice the joy effort or joyous perseverance. So this means page number 183 in the last paragraph. As to the faults of the not joyously persevering, the question of again by sutra, the enlightenment of the lazy is the enlightenment of the lazy is
Very, very far away.
existingly far off and distant. The lazy lack all perfection from the generosity to wisdom. The lazy do not work for other welfare. Right? If you're not able to practice, if you don't have the joyous perseverance, then the enlightenment is so far. And also you should not have, you cannot practice the six perfections. Then you cannot, work for other welfares. So just you contemplate between, the benefit and the disadvantage. If you really, have a strong belief that joy perseverance is the basis of, six pranayana paramitas, it is the, main cause to achieve Buddhahood, then you slowly try to practice the joyous perseverance. So next, page number 184, the division of joyous perseverance. Right? This section on the division of joy perseverance has two parts. What are the two parts? Actual division, then methods of developing joy perseverance. So actual division has how many divisions are there? 3. What are they? Or more?
Joyous perseverance of gathering virtue, and joyous perseverance of acting.
Gathering virtues. Third one, joyous perseverance of the acting for welfare of living beings. Among the three, the number one is very important. So armor is the kind of the clothes, right? Clothes for use army, like joyous perseverance. Koche Zundu. Second is the joy perseverance of the gathering virtues. Third is the joyous perseverance of the acting for welfare of living beings. Now we study very shortly the first one. When Bodhisattva was, this was so important, look at, when Bodhisattva was joyously perseveres period to actively engaging themselves, they put on the armor of the preliminary, ethically enthusiastic thoughts such as the 4 trillion sets of the 3 immeasurable Great Aeon, each composed of day as long as thousands gather Aeon. I shall not relinquish my practice of joy perseverance for the sake of relieving the suffering of single living beings. I would rejoice at remaining only as a hell beings until I attain the Buddhahood. Right? Look at how they have a strong, great motivation. Do you remember there's a simple sentence by Shantideva, which we said many times in that during our pilgrimage. Thus, as long as sentence may remain, as long as space remains, right? This means hormone, like for example, if you wear very strong kind of bulletproof, doesn't matter how many bullets shot by someone, it cannot go in, you cannot hurt you, right? That means if you have this kind of commitment, doesn't matter the time, millions of trillions, I will remain in the hell realms to benefit just one single sentient beings. Can you think this way? Right? If you have this kind of motivation to remain in the hell realms to benefit one sentient being for trillions of years, then you whatever you practice, how long you never feel discouraged, because you have very strong commitment. You wear the armor. So this is the kind of the basis of practice, the second and third joy perseverance. So based on this teaching, so look at also the simple word they say, first you need to generate bodhicitta. Second, you need to accumulate merit for 3 eons. Then in the end, you become a Buddha. Right? Number 1, first you need to generate or develop bodhicitta. Second, you need to accumulate merit. For how long? 3 eons. And at the end, then you become a Buddha. So first time, my teacher explained, first in general bodhicitta is okay, we feel okay. Then second, he explained us, in order to become a Buddha, you need to accumulate merit for 3 eons. It's not short time, it's a long time. Then one of my friend, he really said directly, I've become hopeless. He said, I'm become hopeless to become Buddha. Then my teacher said to us, if you practice bodhicitta, you will become Buddha after 3 eons. If you don't practice bodhicitta, you will remain in samsara forever. Which one you choose? Right? First he really felt, I don't want to practice bodhicitta. I cannot become a Buddha because I don't want to accumulate merit for 3 eons because it's too long. Then he said, if you don't practice bodhicitta, then you remain in samsara forever. If you practice bodhicitta, then you need to accumulate, merit for 3 eons. After 3 eons, you will become a Buddha, which is better. Then he said, I need to think about. Okay. So I think I won't give you any homeworks because so we have a kind of New Year's. During the New Year, everybody will be very busy. And also you have to do so many things, right? I won't give you any homework. So wish you have a happy New Year's. And also, many families or many people spend a lot of money for the New Year's. You should not spend a lot of money. You spend, little amount of money for the New Year's. Most important, I said yesterday, my last class, on the, I think, Thursday. When actually, how many New Years we celebrate within 1 year? Within 1 year, how many New Year we celebrate? Christmas, we celebrate Christmas. Then we have a New Year. Then we have a Chinese New Year's. Then, Muslim what called the Hariyara. Then Indian Diwali. Then also we celebrate a Spring New Year, right? Spring Losar. Actually, we celebrate many different types of New Years, but if you really think very deep, precisely, there's really nothing new. Nothing really new. So should not be so excited to have a New Year's. And also, many people think, 2017 is the terrible years. I will have a, better years in 2018. I will have a better thing. But I should not have a, high expectation to something good happen for you because of New Year's. You just think, it's good. I have another New Year. I didn't, I haven't died 2017. I have another New Year to practice Dharma, to study Lamrim, to do good thing for others. You should not think I have, I will have something very special. Nothing can be special for you. Okay, so next we do the dedication prayers. Also, kind of it's an end of the year. So actually, TBC, Tibetan Buddhist Center, is maintained based on supporters, based on donation. So many people donate money, $1, $2, $10, $20, $100. Many people support TBC. Many people donate money, according to their ability. So when we dedicate the merit, generally we dedicate the merit to benefit all sentient beings. Also dedicate to be Buddha. Also please dedicate the merit to benefit all the supporters who support TBC. Also dedicate the people who ask prayers, chanting, like someone pass away, they ask, like puja. Someone is sick in hospital, they ask puja. So we dedicate the merit to benefit all sentient beings, as well as all the people who support TBC. Also we have a quite number of ESCO members. I really appreciate all the ESCO members because everybody always busy with their own kind of duty, own activities. Still, they try to get a time, spend time for TBC. So please, dedicate the merit to benefit all the ESCO members. So then do the dedication prayers in the page number what? 87. Okay, so please do the dedication prayers, page number 87. We just do the Lamrim prayers, sentence number 7, then finish 1 to 7.
From my recollections,
vast as space that I have massed from walking with effort or this practice of great length of the time. May I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose mind wisdom is blind by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all life, Manjushri. May I find the best of complete guide part of the teaching, and my please all Buddhas my practice. Using scripture drawn by a strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the mind of all beings. Upon a path I have descended. May I follow Buddha teaching for a very long time. With my heart going out with a great compassion, in whatever direction the most precious teaching have not yet spread, or once spread have declined, may I revolve the treasure of the happiness and aid. May the mind those who wish of liberate or get it onward peace, and the Buddha's deeds and nourished by the long time. By even this gather part of enlightenment completed it. Do the wonder virtuous conduct of Buddha. All human and non-human beings who eliminated adversary, a great conducive condition for the practice the excellent paths. Never be separated any of this life for the present path pressed by the Buddhas. Whenever someone make effort to act according to the tenfold Mahayana virtues practice, may they always be assessed by Mighty One, and may ocean of prosperity serve everywhere. Okay, so thank you so much for attending the class. Then we will have a Lamrim class after maybe before I go to US. Is there Lamrim? No teaching, right? No teaching until March. So since March, so we will spend maybe 2 or 3 times the 2 subjects, which is joy perseverance and mindfulness. I will spend quite a long time for the 6th chapter. Okay, thank you.